Today, we will start our journey from the Kubuchi Desert in China. A place that people once didn't just call a desert. They called it the Sea of Death, because life here meant slowly disappearing. Every year, about 500,000 acres of land were silently buried under the sand. Fertile land was turning into a desert before our eyes. Plants would wither, and people would be forced to flee their homes. There was only sand waves and a burning wind all around, and a silence that meant that life here was losing the fight for survival. But the most terrifying thing was that this desert did not stop. It was slowly spreading. Every year, about 500,000 acres of land were being lost under the sand. Entire villages, agricultural lands, roads, everything was slowly being erased. And this process also has a name: desertification. Simply put, where there was life before, only desert gradually forms. And Kubuchi was one of the biggest examples of this. At one time, this desert was spreading at such a speed that it seemed impossible to stop it. But China did not stop. They tried again and again to stop this desert. They planted trees, built sand control stations, launched big projects, and invested billions of rupees. But this ocean of sand could not be stopped. No matter how hard they tried, it seemed that they were slowly losing this fight. Deserts have a terrible characteristic. Once it starts growing, it is very difficult to stop it. Just then, a man came up with an idea that everyone laughed at first. His name was Wang Wenbiao. He started a strange business. He spent all his savings and took out loans and started a crazy business. He brought more than 100 bulldozers, 300 workers. Work continued for 18 hours a day. He started making small squares on the desert sand with dry bushes, and he started planting willow trees inside those squares. This tree is no ordinary tree. Its roots can go very deep into the ground, about 300 feet, to find water. This means that this tree can create an opportunity where no other tree can survive. But the problem does not end here. The strong winds of the desert are so strong that it is difficult for these new trees to survive. The wind blows away the sand and also dries out the little moisture inside the soil, so the trees die before they can survive. So Wang used a new technique and surrounded it with bushes, so that the wind could not hit it directly, and the moisture could be retained inside. This small idea gradually started a big change. People were still laughing. This man is crazy. He is planting trees in the desert. But he did not stop. Not one day or two. He did the same thing for several years. Slowly, some trees survived and some roots reached deep into the soil. The sand began to stop little by little. It seemed that maybe the impossible was becoming possible little by little. But then, another big problem came to the fore. To keep the trees alive, regular care was needed. The new branches had to be cut off. Otherwise, the tree will not be strong. It will not grow. And it is almost impossible to do this work in this vast desert. If you do it with people, the cost it will be sky high, and it will take endless time. So who will do this work? Who will manage this entire system in such a large area with so much difficulty? And right here, the imagination suddenly takes a new turn. What no one could have ever imagined. The work that had become almost impossible to do with people, a small animal, a rabbit, started doing the same work. A special breed of rabbit was brought here. Rex rabbit. These rabbits are called white gold. Because their fur is so soft, so valuable, that a good quality skin can be sold for up to $30. whereas it costs only $2 to raise a rabbit. That means more than 15 times the return from one animal. But this is not the real story. The real story is hidden in their small habit. Rex rabbits also love to eat the new and tender branches of the willow tree. And when these rabbits started eating the new branches of the tree, the main stem of the tree started to become thicker and stronger and more permanent. This means that the work that humans had to do repeatedly, cutting the branches and strengthening the tree, was what these rabbits were doing very easily. This is not the end. Another great contribution of these rabbits was their dung. It may sound strange, but their dung began to act as a very powerful natural fertilizer. Gradually, the dry and almost dead soil began to come back to life. There was another surprise. These rabbits ate grass, but they could not digest the grass seeds completely. As a result, the seeds returned to the soil through them. And after a few days, it was seen that where there was only sand before, grass slowly started to grow. A small cycle was created. Both nature and animals started working together. Gradually, the sand started to settle. The moisture inside the soil started to retain. The wind could no longer blow away the sand like before. And within a few years, the place that was once a dead desert slowly started to turn green. But this did not end here. This change did not stop only in the environment. It also spread to human life. Local people were encouraged to raise these rabbits. Every house started to turn into a small farm. Rabbit fur started to be sold. Raw materials started to come from trees, and people slowly started to earn money. At one time, those who were fleeing from this desert started to return again. This process continued for years, and at one time, a large part of the Kubuchi Desert was covered with greenery. The place that was once called only the Sea of Death. At one time, those who had fled from this place came back again. But Wang did not stop there. He built a huge solar power plant in the middle of the desert. With 196,000 panels, it is shaped like a running horse. This plant produces 2.3 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity per year, which is enough for about 400,000 people. But there is a twist here too. These panels do not just produce electricity, they also reduce wind speed by 50%. Along with that, it also creates shade under the panels. And under that shade, grass grows again. And rabbits, sheep, ducks start eating that grass, meaning a new ecosystem is created where technology and nature work together. And today, this model is not limited to China, Spain, Africa, the Middle East, and many countries have started following this method. The biggest lesson of this story is that no matter how much people laugh at you, you should remain steadfast in your goal. Why give up your dreams for the laughter of others? Because everyone who has grown up till now was laughed at first. Now the decision is yours. To get such videos, subscribe to the channel and stay by your side. Thank you.